Hi everyone, welcome back to another Wednesday. The purpose of this video is to help you to bake an Achatz pie from a raw frozen state. Now over the years we have grown our frozen pie line, so we ship out pallets and truckloads of our wonderful all-natural handmade pies. And that's really exciting for us. We have a lot of training and teaching materials to help your bakers in your grocery stores to bake our pies properly. So at our bakehouse in Chesterfield, Michigan, every day we walk through the fresh baked pies, and we usually have one of our top bakers will walk through the pies with some of our younger people or some of our new people that need to look at the pies and see what we're seeing and test the pies the way we're testing and the way we're checking. So it's all part of our training process here at Achatz Pie Company. So if you want to know more and take a deeper dive on how we actually walk through the pies and do our quality checks, there's a link below to a video we did about a year ago. It's filmed in the back of our bakehouse in Chesterfield, Michigan, and my husband Dave is walking through the pies with one of our young bakers, Matt. They're checking the pies and scoring them. 85 is passing, 100 is the best. So anything below a score of 85, there's a few things that you can do with those less than perfect pies, but we don't sell them. And here at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you what we do with our less than perfect pies. So this video will be useful to you if you are a wholesaler and you're baking our frozen pie line, whether you're baking the 8-inch or 9-inch pies, or if you're an at-home baker and you have picked up one of our Hello Good pies from the grocer freezer or from one of our 6 pie shops. These photos that we're about to show you will really help you hone in your skills and help you to really get that perfect golden brown crust and make sure that the filling is properly baked as well. Warning, some of these photos are pretty scary, but we have a lot of beautiful ones too to counteract that, so stay with me. All right, you guys, buckle up. Let's take a look at some of these photos. So we've created this little poster here. There's a link below where you can download this and print it off and hang it there in your kitchen. It's a real easy guide where you can compare underbaked, perfect, and overbaked in side-by-side comparison. So that should help you. No worries, guys. These were 4 pies that we baked in our own kitchen here at our bakehouse, and they are underbaked. They are still raw in the middle, as you can see. The edges look slightly golden brown, but no, not perfect. You can see that there's a lot of oily spots. It's darker in shade there. It's not golden brown, definitely. Another thing I see on this photo here on the sheet pan, you notice we have a piece of parchment paper catching the drippings, and that's fine. You're going to have some boil out. But what I'm noticing here are all these little black spots, and that is soot from moving sheet pans around in an oven, and the oven wasn't as clean as it should have been. So yeah, these pies are a miss. They're not sellable. I'm giving them about a 75% score. And I want to show you now what the bottoms of these pies look like, because if the tops look like this, we know that the bottoms aren't done either. So we're going to flip one over here and I'm going to show you in the next photo. Check out the bottom of these blueberry pies. This one is really bad. How much of the bottom crust is actually baked? How much of it is raw? I'm going to say the very bottom of this pan, it looks like 90% of that bottom is raw. So what do you score this pie at? 10%? Yeah, this one does not pass. Now, if these pies were out of the oven for only, say, 10 or 15 minutes, and they didn't lose too much of the heat, we could hurry up, push these back into the oven for another 20 minutes or so. But if they have been sitting and cooling for 30 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, there's no way you could pop them back in the oven and try to, achieve golden brownness here because they've lost too much of the heat. All right, here we are in my bakehouse again, and these pies are overbaked. Did we set the timer? How did we forget about these pies? I don't know, but you can see that the edges are pretty dark here. There's a lot of boil out. We've got to have some boil out. Like this looks great. This pie might be passable, but the edge here just looks a little too dark. These up here, these little 8-inch here, that's really burnt. So sorry guys, I'm sure the filling really tastes good, but the edges were just a little bit too dark. they are not passable. All right, you guys, so this is a little 8-inch pie. You can tell because of the machine crimped edge. This is what we might call our economy line. They're a 24-ounce pie, and the edges are pressed by a machine. But what a nice, golden brown color we got around here. Not too bad, but you just got this little underbaked oily spot right there. This pie is almost passable. Just, if it didn't have this little wet spot here, but boy, if you kept this pie in the oven for another 5 minutes, then, these edges really might have gotten too dark. So I know that that's why the baker pulled it out here too. So, it's a toss-up on this pie, really. All right, you guys, so this one almost passed, almost made the grade, but didn't quite. So we're just going to throw it in the break room for the employees to have. This photo was taken when I was out at one of the grocery stores that purchase our frozen pies, but we also supply our fresh pie too. So these pies are both made by Achatz Pie. This one here in the purple box is one of our Achatz branded pies, beautiful 8-inch golden brown pie. The one next to it is also an 8-inch pie, but you can see not so golden brown. I would probably give this one here on the right a 50%. That one's not passing. That one's not making my grade. This pie needed another 20 minutes in the oven. So if the instructions are to bake this pie for 45 minutes, I think this pie was only in the oven for maybe 25 minutes. That's why I give it a 50%, because it was only baked 50% of the time. This pie was pulled out of the oven too soon, or the temperature was lower than it should have been. They weren't quite up to the heat that they needed to be. Perhaps they didn't preheat the oven. Maybe this pie went in at a really low temperature. They set the timer for the right amount of time, and when the timer went off, they said, well, it's been 40 minutes, and they pulled it out. Or perhaps they opened the door way too many times. Maybe there was a lot of other things getting baked that day, like cookies that only need 12 minutes. So those cookies or croissants or baguettes were going in and out of the oven, and maybe that door was open during the whole 45 to 50 minutes that this pie should have been baking. So here we are walking through a grocery store that uses our product, and this pie is boxed, sitting out on the shelf for sale, and you can tell here that it's only about half baked as well. So yep, this pie is not passable. What happened here? Why is that pie still, wet and oily in the middle? It's just not baked in all of these areas. Now, I don't know what the edge looks like. I can't see the, if the edge maybe looked golden brown, but when you pull it off the sheet pan out of the oven, you could definitely tell that this pie was not fully baked. It should have went back into the oven probably for another 20 minutes. So the filling isn't finished baking either, and that worries me because here at Achatz, we do not pre-cook our pie filling. Our pie filling is only baked once by you in your oven at your bakery or grocery store. Some of the other pie companies may use a pre-cooked pie filling. Maybe they have a big slurry that they create using water and high fructose corn syrup, and then they pre-cook the filling. So it's similar to canned pie filling. So really the only thing that the baker on the opposite end here has to do is get to golden brown on the crust. But to me, we didn't get to golden brown on the crust, and I know that filling isn't thoroughly baked either. So what's going to happen when the customer brings this pie home? They're going to cut into it, and it's probably going to be pretty runny, pretty soupy. The juices didn't have time to thicken with the starch. The starch was not activated. We needed to be 180 degree in the center. Oh, okay. Oh my God. Here's one of the worst things that I've ever seen. What happened here? There was one expert baker in the bakery department, and he had to leave for an all-day meeting. And his assistants were left there to bake, and they were not very well trained. So, do you think you can leave your bakery department if people are not trained? Here's what happened. Look at here. The edges are really burnt here, yet the middles are not done. So they took one of our frozen pies out of the box and they re-sugared the top of the pie. And that's all right. If there's some misses, empty spaces on the top of the pie, and you need to touch it up a little bit with a little bit of granulated sugar that you have in your bakery, because the sugar is a browning agent. We want a nice, even, very fine coating on the top of that pie crust of granulated sugar. What happened? Did it shift around during transport? So this guy here hit it with like a half a cup of granulated sugar. I don't know. It just looks like he created such a heavy layer of sugar on the top. It was overkill. Like I said, sugar's supposed to be a browning agent, but he put so much sugar on that the heat was not able to penetrate to the crust and get to golden brown. So he saw that his edges were starting to burn, and he's like, oh, I got to pull this out of the oven. Or maybe he was baking in a pizza oven, maybe a deck oven. Maybe it was like at 500 degrees, who knows, you know, where he had it in for like 15, 20 minutes. Edges were burning, middle was not done at all. Here we just have a massive amount of pies piled up on the table, and they're all underbaked. I don't know about these two crumb pies over here to the left side of the photo, but I have an idea that these pies were all in the oven at the same time. Definitely needs some retraining here. These pies definitely should not have been boxed and packaged. Why waste that money as well? These pies should all be pulled off the table and trashed. This is a lot of waste. This is a lot of food cost, but we've got to get it right. And when we come through a store and see something like this, it just really breaks our heart. This is so pale and pasty. This is not golden brown. It is really heartbreaking, and we love to come out and visit your headquarters, your regional office. We can come out to your grocery stores and do some retraining along with your staff. We've got good presentations that we can do. We can do a lot of face-to-face. We can do a lot of Q&A. We'll do whatever that we need to do to help you to get it right. It is our product after all, and we want it to be baked correctly. We need you to bake it correctly in your grocery store so that you're not losing sales or getting complaints. We want you to continue to be happy with our pies. So like I said, we'll come out and do some retraining anytime. All right, so this is a 9-inch apple pie baked in our facility by Sandra. And I'm going to give this pie probably a 93%. It's got a little bit of dark crust here, right? Just a little bit. But for the most part, it looks great. She's got the sugar sprinkled around it. We've missed a little bit of the sugar here. We like to hit them hard in the oven to start with. Our apple pies are filled with a raw, crunchy apple slice. So we really need to make sure that that apple pie is baked. So you really got to have that temperature up high. That oven has to be hot. Put that pie in there and let it bake. Now, what Sandra did, part of our protocol for quality, is making sure that the middle, the center of that pie, where she inserted her thermometer probe, reaches 180 degrees and rising. So you can see this little hole here. Kind of looks like part of the decoration of the pie. I don't really mind it. But she put her thermometer right there, and we were able to achieve the 180 before she pulled it out of the oven. But yeah, I'm going to say 93. I love this pie. Let's take a look at the bottom. Look at the bottom of this pie. It is beautiful. How did we flip that pie over without destroying it? Now this pie is going to be flipped back over, put back in the pie tin. No one will ever know the difference. So this is a very crucial quality check. I love doing this part. This was taught to me many years ago to really, part of a great pie is making sure that bottom is cooked and baked all the way through. So the top of the pie looked great. I was pretty sure the bottom was going to look good too, but we do have this little teeny oil spot right there. That's okay. What do you think the portion of the bottom crust is that is not baked right here in that little spot? What, like 5 or 10%? So that would give this pie, what, a 95%? So yeah, that's a passable score. This pie is A-okay. All right, what is with this pie? What can you do with this pie? Well, you could probably get 3 or 4 slices out of here, right? And then maybe we would just sample the rest of the inside of this pie filling here, making sure not to get any of that burnt crust in the small little souffle cup that we use to sample pies. So we're going to get some of the crust, some of the filling. It'll be just fine. So like I said, we could recoup our food cost by getting 3 or 4 slices out of it, doing a little bit of sampling with the rest. Or you could just put it in the break room again. It seems to be the default with a lot of our pies. You guys, this is a beautiful pie here. You noticed all this boil out here, and you may have thought, oh no, that looks like a messy, sloppy pie, but really, we love to see this again, like I explained. The juices of the fruit are blending with the starches. We get the sugar just right. You know, in fact, a lot of people say that they love our pies because we don't over-sugar them. So this is a really beautiful pie that we make. It's our signature pie. It's called the Michigan 4-berry, and it has cherries, blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries. You can see some of the raspberry seeds here coming out in the boil out. Just a little bit of boil out on the parchment paper. It's wonderful, you guys. Enjoy this pie as much as you can. All right, so we've talked about the 5 steps in properly baking a pie, but we have one more for apple, and it is the fork. So what we do to check for the tenderness of the apple slice is we use a table fork, and we insert it in the center area of the pie 2 or 3 times to check a couple of different samples of apple slices. We really want to make sure that those apple slices are tender, thoroughly cooked. We don't want to send out a pie with crunchy, rock-hard apples. So this is a picture of Russell and Laura. These are 2 of our best bakers here at the Bake House. They are having a lot of fun here, as you can see, smiling big. But what we do is we always take a partner with us as we're walking through the pies. It's good to be getting that honest feedback and, you know, having some great conversation, parlay. It's all part of our teaching and training program here at Achatz Pies. It's part of our culture. It's part of servant leadership. Young Matt here, you know, he's a strong guy. So LP here, Laura, has been teaching and training Matt for a while, and he did a great job with helping to bake these 50,000 pecan pies. We can't do it all by ourselves. So it's so important that you two at your bakery are teaching and training the next generation of people coming through. Everybody needs to learn. They need that mentorship. And so hopefully you'll be passing on your skills to your employees there, and everybody can do a great job and feel respected and well trained. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I hope that it's been a help to you. If there's something that I'm missing, if you have another question, please let me hear it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Give me a thumbs up. Please share this video. Have a great week, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.